Okay, I call this meeting to order. To start out with, are there any changes to the agenda?
Oh, pause. Unmute us again.
Okay, I'm gonna try this out.
We can try this again.
My tester. Okay, very good. We'll do some attendance really quick. Library Director Jeff Wynn, present. Our select representative Nalia Griffin, here. Kathleen Siegel, Library Board member,
Here.
And our city council liaison today is Mayor Steve Wright. Sarah Muller, here. Eve Marks, here. And Megan Hughes.
And that was online.
Oh, and Kathy joining us by phone, Kathy Ryan.
I had her muted. This might be too much.
All right, do I have a move to approve the October minutes?
I approve.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Minutes are approved. On community engagement, what's everyone's reports for community engagement this month?
I'm not waking up. You've had.
I've been out. I'll say not necessarily about our library specifically, but our library system is the Astoria remodel. I've been seeing people talk about that everywhere. Seems to have gone over very well. Okay, and then let's do the assistant director report.
I do have two updates from Josh for that report. As of the sending of it on Friday, under highlights, we had secured someone to come and show how to make a beaded bracelet or necklace. And she has been accepted an opportunity to take her show on the road and actually get paid to do this. So she will not be attending her how-to clinic. So Caitlin Sproul is no longer part of the how-to clinic this time around. And then the third bullet down under highlights, the cycle of memory screening is postponed and canceled because of low attendance. So we have nailed down as of today the January 10th date. And as Josh indicated in here, I'm working with Alex Leff and also coordinating with the local assisted living facilities to try to bring some folks together for that presentation. So you can see we've got all of the details here in the program statistics and some highlights. And I think we had chatted at one point about sort of the format and the content, and wondering if you had any feedback about what you would like to see or what feels, is this helpful to you to have a sense of what's going on program wise, or would a story be more helpful? I was looking back through previous, I think they called it programming updates or something, a different iteration. And so it was sort of all things programming were included in that. Just wanted to get, I want this to be an opportunity for you all to be getting the information that you need when you're in the community talking about what we're doing, and also just to have an idea of what we are doing here at the library. So if this format works for you, great. If there are things that you would like to see, we can chat about it next time and come up with a different format. Just want to throw that.
Think about that.
Yeah. So again, I'm not going to read all of that. We have it here, all the highlights from our programming. And then of course Josh always includes some additional highlights about what's going on. And as you can see, the last art show of the year went up today. So we have a wonderful opportunity of being among the beautiful quilts this evening. quilts in many colors. So this will be on display through January 2nd. Really nice.
I have a question about the low attendance. You mean like historically it's had low attendance?
No, this particular film screening that we
Oh, so you canceled it day of, you didn't cancel it.
we went over to the offices and it got set up, and I think I'm excited. Let's try to make this a larger opportunity for students to attend.
Any other questions? All right, then the Kensington Foundation report, please.
Well, here's our logo. And we've been meeting pretty regularly, and this has been the year of just organizing, reorganizing and everything that will be coming up soon to 2026. So in November, we have a couple of meetings where we'll be, as the board, will be finishing adopting our policies, so we're all set to proceed. That'll include financial policy and the bylaws, things like that we need to have to be able to operate. November 21st, our focus is going to be our membership push, what we're going to do to recruit, ask, invite people to become members of the Seaside Library Friends and Foundation. And also that's when we'll be reviewing the budget that Jennifer will be presenting, is what the library would like in terms of support. We want to move to where both Jennifer and the library and the Friends and Foundation know how much money that she needs for activities for the year, so that we're not just kind of winging it, every couple of months, oh, hey, I could use, $650 for this, that kind of thing. And they know pretty much what they need the money for: summer reading, special programs, the book program that everybody reads, those kinds of things. And so I think it'll be a good planning process for them as well as for us. And we're doing it before she submits her budget to the city, so it's all kind of connected together. And then mark your calendars for February 1st, which I believe is a Sunday. We are going to have our kickoff event for Seaside Library Friends and Foundation, inviting people to come to learn more about the organization, to join. But we're also going to use that as an opportunity to kick off the Seaside Reads program. The Friends and Foundation support that, with purchasing the books and things like that. So I thought it'd be a good combination and have that as a day where we can give away the books and encourage people to come for that. We'll have some prize drawings, and we're also talking about having some kind of program to go along with it. I haven't quite got that figured out yet. It's maybe something that's kind of related to the Everybody Reads, with the concept of the book. Maybe there's a topic that we could have a speaker on, or something that might be related to that would tie into that. So it'll be in the afternoon on February 1st, and there will be food. And we anticipate, talking about the budget again, anticipate that funds for this coming year will probably be in the nature of $4,000 to $6,000 for membership dues. And then the bookstore, we anticipate will probably be about $3,000 in dues or in payments. And probably between those two, we should have sufficient funds to sponsor all these programs that you just heard about that Josh talked about. And so we should be able to promote that. Our funds, we're doing just fine. We have about $4,800 in our checking account, which is our money to do things right away with. We've got $14,500 in our savings account, which is where we put all of our funds as they come in. That because we don't want to have too much in the checking account. We want to have 5,000 is even a little bit high. We'll probably move some of those into the savings. So we get a little bit of interest on those. And then we also have our endowment fund, which is currently in a CD. And so right before that's due on February 4th, we'll actually go through the savings and we'll pull any funds out of there that were actually given to the Friends and Foundation for the endowment fund, or to bring that total down a little bit lower and put it into the endowment. The concept is the endowment is not going to be used until we have like a big project or something. It's not going to be part of her annual request of money. $14,000 is a little bit high to have in that savings line. unless we're planning on really using it. So I guess maybe if she comes to us with $14,000 worth of requests, then we'll have to reassess that. But that gives us a total of just about $53,000 in our resources. And so that's not a bad amount to have. I would like to see us get up to that 100,000 level. A lot of foundations don't give any money out until they get to that $100,000 level. We have always been a foundation that has given money out. Foundation itself has always given money out continuously. And of course, the Friends have always given money out continuously. So it's a good combination of the two. But it would be nice to have that endowment fund being up to $100,000 would be able to, who knows what it would be able to do at that point. So that's about it. So watch for your membership information.
Thank you, Leah. Jennifer, you ready for your library director report?
Yes, thank you. And just a quick kudos, thank you again to SLIP for all of their ongoing support through the years. Yep, and be ready for my big ask. All right, so a couple things I want to highlight this time around for partnerships and community engagement. The library is hosting 2 Pacifica students this year. Marion has wanted help her in the programs and will then carry over into summer reading. And then I recently connected with a young man who sort of technologically minded, and we had a request from the community, from a community member asking for tech help for seniors. And you know, kind of looked at each other like, I don't know if we can make this happen, but you know who can do it is a teenager who needs 50 hours of community service. So we had our first chat about what that's going to look like, and we're going to, hopefully this week, we're going to connect and come up with a regular day time slot for him to be set up, and we can help folks print from their phone and download Libby, and who knows?
Sounds great.
That's a really exciting. So yeah, we've done it for 50 hours. Loving that. This past month, I attended the Reforma quarterly meeting in Happy Valley. It truly is a Happy Valley. They had a remodel recently. It's a beautiful building. I had some serious, like, oh, could we do that? So yes, beware of my ask. But it was great to just connect with other librarians serving Spanish-speaking populations around Oregon. And we had the opportunity to have a presentation from author and illustrator. He's actually out of Mexico. He's lived in the United States also, but he lives in Mexico full time. And I'm going to butcher his name, Tonatia. It's Tonatia, Duncan Tonatia. And it's just a really heartwarming presentation about all of his style and how his process. So he writes and illustrates all of his books, and it's in the style of sort of that, you know, that Mayan culture, the flat, this is the, and just in profile. So everything's in profile, and they're so. I'll leave these. I'm not going to do a story time, but those are all by him. These are all by him, and they were all in our collection. I think we only had to add like 1 or 2. Wow. So I was messaging Mary the entire time. I said, "Yep, got it. Already on it." So that was really exciting to have those opportunities. And we just met with via Zoom. Amanda, who is she's the executive director and founder of Puerta Abierta, which is a little school and library that I've worked with them about for the last 15 years. They're on the shores of Lake Atitlán in Guatemala. And when we connected in Guadalajara last year, she asked if we were interested in doing a sister library, and we both got excited, and then the conference ended and we went back to our respective homes, and things sort of fizzled for a bit, but we had the Zoom call, and it sounds like Marion will partner with the librarian in their school And we're gonna start small, so small and steady, and then try to build on that. We're really excited about that, so. And I'll get to see her when I'm, Guadalajara this month. And we'll do some more planning, and she's gonna help me pick out books for the collection, so.
What do sister libraries do? What do they do programming together?
They can, it's pretty broad, so it's actually something sponsored by the American Library Association, and there are grant funds available, which I'm imagining I would probably defer all of those to go to the small school in Guatemala. And $1,000 or $1,500 for helping out with some programming. So yeah, we could do something where we had a concurrent story time where we're reading the same story that they're reading. We would love to be able to have it be more connected, like with the classroom. So we have our childcare across the street that brings their kids over. But we're gonna try to ease into it, and they're actually on break right now. Their school years from January through the end of September, mid-October. So they're actually on summer break now. When they come back to school, then they'll be in school and attending the library when we have our summer reading program, which is when we can do a lot more sort of robust programming and bringing families in those connections. So hopefully they'll have displays of like what our library looks like and what maybe our kids are doing, and similarly we'll have those connections too. So we all got very excited about too many ideas. That's why we're just trying to put into place something that's a SMART goal, right, for the first year, and then see if we can go. It's great, super excited about that one. And along those lines, so Marion and Anna attended the Fall Fun Fest across the street, handed out close to 100 books. So it was a really great opportunity to connect and get folks excited about coming back to the library. And something that she's been doing for many years is going to all of the fourth grade classes and getting all the fourth graders signed up for library cards if they're not already. So right now we have kids who are in high school who have already gone through this fourth grade library card sign up. So we just have to make sure to keep their information clean and up to date and sponge any fines, things like that. So. And then statistics, you saw a lot of the numbers in Josh's report, but it does look like comparing this year's September to last year's September, it's a little bit higher, actually 15% higher. Our computer lab sessions are down, just sort of in general, as in people who are logging onto our computers here, but our Wi-Fi users are going up. So it could be that the folks who are, gaining access to the internet, they're actually doing it on the computers. And that's
Can you, anytime I use my phone, it registers with you, it clicks?
if you connect to our Wi-Fi.
Mm-hmm. I think it automatically does when you walk in the door, doesn't it?
If you have it saved in there, but I think you do still have to
register.
do yes, I want to
Okay. Okay.
That's a universal sign for yes, I and again, the program numbers are remaining steady, which is always encouraging. And just this past month, we signed up 116 new library cards. That probably includes that fourth grade push. So that's why the number is so high, but it's still every week you folks can sign up. And I'm also seeing, this is something that we haven't tracked before, and we don't report this to the state, but folks can request materials from us. And we sort of decide if we're going to bring them in the library loan or if we're going to add them to the collection. So it kind of comes down to, is this something that's going to fit in our collection that we need, that was a gap that we just missed? Or is this kind of a one-off? This is, you just got a wild hair about something, and so we're going to bring this item in. from another library. But overall, the requests for purchase, they're up significantly over, so either the word is out that we do this, we might be talking about it, or, you know, who knows? But I love to see that people are actually truly taking advantage of the resource that's available here. You know, we want to fill the space as much as possible with what the community would like to see. So it's already talked about the art committee and our beautiful quilts for November and December. And you may have noticed, although it's already dark outside, the sidewalk siding and windows were cleaned this past month. And when I turned the corner and I saw the way the building looked after it got, you know, power washed, it was magical. Actually, this color. And we've already referred to the Astoria's grand reopening. Definitely encourage you to check it out if you can. They have an expanded library of things available. So bins of things you can check out, similar to what we have, sewing machines, etc. They have Cuisinart, I think. Seems like a library, but cake pans, all sorts of things. And this is probably getting ahead of myself because we'll talk about that in a future meeting, but we were given a donation of tools from a local person who was moving away, and I'm in the process of going through them and figuring out what we can safely put into a library of things, like probably not the radial arm saw. I don't know where we'd store it either. So, but things like sanders or, you know, some specialty items that we just for the collection or purchase for your own home, but you want to try it out. Be on the lookout for that stuff. And our winter reading program kicks off December 1st. So in the summer, kids read for prizes, and in the winter, they read for a cause. And this is primarily driven by the school. It's really connected with the school and trying to keep kids reading throughout the winter break. So we get some good numbers from that, and then the Branson Foundation makes a donation to the chosen charity. They've chosen for asked us for that. No. It's on my list. And we are starting a new, so we have a teen book club. But when Mary was up talking with the fourth graders, talking about adding a tween book club. So tween is sort of that third, fourth, fifth grade age, right? Where they're too old for story time. They're not quite ready for the teen book club. They're in between. And so they're putting together the tween book club. So that's big exciting.
That is a big gap because those kids want to go to the teen one and they just aren't ready.
For a number of reasons, whether it's the content or just sort of socially. Yeah.
Any questions on the director report?
I was just going to ask, you don't know what the cause is for the winter reading programs?
In the past, it was guide dogs for the blind, and we may do that one again because we connected with actually a gentleman here in town who was the recipient of a dog from the Guide Dogs for the Blind. We're trying to have him come and do a presentation and introduce his dog. His name is Brady. I'm not sure. It's the third dog he's had through the organization. And he waited 18 months for this dog because of his previous dog passed away. And because of like COVID and training and all sorts of things, it took 18 months for him to get a dog. So he had to navigate through town just for his walk. So it's really challenging. So that would be a good presentation. Yeah. I hope we're able to, again, we wanted to partner with the school because the schools are the ones that are the promotion of that one.
You know, the school's never done a field trip here.
We will get class, yeah, sometimes classes will come down. I mean, I don't remember how many classes are at each grade level. Or like bus
Mm,
navigation.
yeah, well, that'll line up good with the library card drive.
But it's kind of easier for Marion to just like grab her wares and drive up
Yeah.
the hill and then she can hit a whole bunch of, like when we do the summer reading promotion, May, we see every single class in the course of the day.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
And then they recognize me on the trolley.
All right, well, if there are no more questions on that, then unfinished business, the library policy review.
So I had all these great intentions of bringing some delightful things for you to review today. But I didn't.
Yay.
So it's gonna remain. Remain unfinished right there, but it's just a gentle reminder to us each month that we do have policies that we are operating under. But we also recognize that there could be some buttoning up.
Revision. Okay, planning for the all board gathering.
That is also still on my to-do list of reaching out to the other, now that Astoria is officially reopened, and I think there's maybe some movement happening with the Warrenton location. So I've been waiting to have a board meeting or the director meeting where the three of us can get together, and then again, we would like to reach out to here. I think the last one we did was it in September? Was it September? If that feels like a good time, I think that might be, I can at least chip away at my to-do list and add that to finding in September. And we had talked about maybe doing some things with the coordinating with local agencies to see if we wanted to do kind of a fair or something. So maybe show, maybe show. That was a great idea.
Yeah.
That was sure.
Yeah.
It was actually Josephine County's idea. And I did bring it. Well, that's what we do. We just steal other things.
Well, networking.
Don't make the same mistake somebody else.
Yes.
Okay, furnishings refresh, the fun one.
Yes, again, still also lots of irons in the fire. I reached out to the company that originally did our furnishings when we opened the building. So the big oversized chairs, the one size fits no one. We are still aiming to recover some of them. I don't know if we're gonna keep them all, because I think we have 13, which seems like a lot. But so we're still figuring out what to do with those chairs.
Like reupholstered.
We would get those reupholstered, yeah. And
Is there somebody locally that does them?
there could be.
There's a woman in Astoria that does furniture reupholstery.
Send me her name.
Okay.
And
She did a chair for me. Fabulous.
And the reason I was gonna go with these folks, just because they were the ones who initially brought the things in, and I think also he works with prison furnishings. So I figure if
Durability.
if
Yeah.
they can survive in
Oh, yeah,
prison,
so you don't need.
they should be okay. I would, maybe.
Is this the guy that does the furnishings that are made in the prisons?
I think he contracts through them. Yes.
Okay, I'm just curious who it is.
It seems to me. Anyway. So the other thing that was sort of popping up for us was an idea of, a refresh of the space along with the furnishings. Is to relocate our computer lab into the main atrium. We talked about some of them, and the idea of how we would configure that. So
Mm-hmm.
that's still in the works. I think we're still figuring out what to do with those chairs. I think he contracts through them. Yes. So the other thing that was sort of popping up for us was an idea of, a refresh of the space along with the furnishings. Is to relocate our computer lab into the main atrium. We talked about some of them, and the idea of how we would configure that. So that's still in the works. But what came up at the last meeting was the idea of putting out some sort of survey, right, to folks to ask what they would like to see. And then, of course, in the drafting of the survey, sort of, you can guide where you want folks to go in the drafting of the survey. So you should probably be thinking about what sorts of questions lead in close.
Yeah.
Survey leading questions. Yes. Like, what type of furniture, what type of recovering would you like to see on these chairs?
No, make it multiple choice. The choice of the, you can look at all right. And they're just choosing.
So that's, yeah, so I need to come up with that.
Scripted words.
The uncomfortable chairs, yes or no? So, yeah, any suggestions that you all have about that? If you walked into the library for the first time and you looked around and thought, wow, I really wish you had a fill in the blank. What? I'm looking at you.
But I sit down much
No, we usually stand over a table.
with the camera and that's Seaside.
I would like to see something like that, where we have a better area to look at the seaside signals.
Yeah, that's true. Better like research.
Yeah, because now when we do
And
it
just-
which is great, except there's always somebody in that space who's taking up most of the table. So
That is a challenge.
it is a challenge.
And I don't know if you noticed, but we, the room used to be labeled, multilingual, I think that's what it's, or multilingual. And so took those letters down, and then from the far corner that used to be the archives, we took the archive letters down. And then I reattached the archives letters over the archive. So for a while it was the unnamed room, go to the room that doesn't have a name on it. Now it does say archives. So we're moving in that direction, but I'll tell you, ever since I poo-pooed that cone of silence, that thing gets used all the time. So I can't get rid of it now, because people really like it. Maybe it's just something else.
I'm glad it's being used, because it wasn't cheap,
It wasn't cheap,
and it was
a bit of a headache to.
but it didn't get used hardly at all. And then you put something out into the atmosphere.
It's out there. I'm stuck with it. And I did hear, kind of along the lines of the furniture refresh, but we were granted monies in this fiscal year for an HVAC review and the furniture refresh. So we're beginning the process of finding a company that would come and do the HVAC assessment. And then I started getting nervous because I realized it already feels like this year is over. And that means that the fiscal year is going to be over before we know it. And so I checked in with finance and I said, what's my wiggle room on spending this? You know, and ideally it would be spent in that fiscal year. And that's still my goal. But I know that I have a bit of next 7.
And new business for next meeting.
Yes, so I will be in Guadalajara for our next meeting. So I think we did last December meeting. Maybe we pushed it a week out.
I think it was a week.
Okay, yeah. So. It would be the one. Kathy, are you available on the 9th? If we pushed it from the 2nd?
On the 9th?
Yep.
Let me grab my computer.
What does that look like?
I don't know why I'm sorry for that.
This is to delay.
Yes, this is it.
While we're waiting on that, are there any, I know there's no public comments today, any board comments?
The 9th looks fine for me.
Thank you, Kathy.
Mhm.
All right, well, there are no other comments, and I guess we will officially set the next meeting for Tuesday, December 9th, 4 p.m. And meeting is adjourned.